Out of Darkness is a new-ish original film. It's kind of complicated. For the past couple years, it's been circulating in a lot of film festivals, but now it's finally getting a full theatrical run. And it's set 45,000 years ago when a group of people traveled to a strange land inhabited by a monster sheltered by the darkness. To be honest, movies like this is why I kind of love going into films relatively blind. All I saw of this film was just the trailer. Just the trailer once, a while back, and I was hooked. To be completely honest, I have heard no one talk about this movie. I had no idea whether it was going to be good or whether it was going to be bad. All I knew of this movie was just what the trailer showed, and to be honest, I wouldn't have had it any other way. I really had a good time with this movie. I can already tell this is going to be one of the big surprises that the year's going to have to offer, and I can already tell you this is going to be one of those movies this year that no one sees, no one's going to talk about, and I can honestly say, do yourself a favor and watch it. This movie is worth the price of admission just from the aesthetics alone. Aesthetically, this film is amazing. Not only are there so many gorgeous wide landscape shots that not only show off the incredible magnitude of nature, but also shows off just how small our characters and by proxy we are compared to the world around us. And along with the visuals, the score and the sound design for this movie are outstanding. It feels so ancient and epic, yet at the same time, it feels so ominous. It's a perfect example of a period piece horror score. And along with the visuals and the score, this movie is edited fantastically. This movie's editing manages to balance out quick cut suspense with long drawn out scenes of tension. It is brilliant horror thriller editing. And when I say period piece, that's probably my favorite thing this movie has to offer. The movie doesn't just say that it's set 45,000 years ago, but everyone speaks perfect English or perfect Spanish or perfect whatever language. Apparently the language spoken throughout this movie is a made-up language called Tola or Tala or something along those lines. And along with how faithfully primitive the costuming and even the weaponry is in the film, all of that just makes you buy into the fact that this movie is set in such ancient times that we barely know of it. And for a smaller scale, indie-ish film like this one, I truly admire its ambition. As for the characters and the actors, that's where the movie's sort of a mixed bag. Don't get me wrong, I think all of the actors do a great job for what they're given, and the characters are not awful. I wouldn't even call them bad. Each of them have their own specific personality traits and hints of backstory that separate themselves from their peers. But I just would have liked a bit more to really grab on to each of the characters, because honestly, as okay as the characters were in this movie, they could have been a lot better. And that does lead me into my problems with the movie, which, if I'm being honest, all of my problems with the film aren't necessarily major flaws, they're just all over the place nitpicks that I noticed. Like, the first half of the movie is paced so well and really gets your adrenaline pumping as you're following these characters. But in the last half, it feels like we slow down a bit too much, and throughout a couple scenes in the last half of the film, it does feel like it drags on. There are also some decisions the characters make during the climax of this movie which are just bone dead stupid. Not even from an angle of realism, just from what the story set up about all of the characters, what they do logically makes absolutely no sense in terms of their survival. And as more things are revealed throughout this movie, especially in terms of the monster that this movie centered around, the more I understood, but at the same time, I didn't 100% buy. Without giving anything away, I understood the allegory behind it, and I kind of liked the allegory behind it, but logically, there were 100 better solutions that all of the characters in this film could have made, that didn't end up with the majority of them in mortal danger. But again, that is part of the allegory, but the logic part of my mind is really struggling to buy it. Yet at the same time, I do understand that that is what really scared people would do in these situations. So if I'm being completely honest, the first half of this movie was fantastic, and while the second half of this movie was not bad, it's definitely where the majority of the film's problems lie. But again though, Overall, I really like this movie. I love the filmmaking craft on display, I love the attention to historical detail, and while some things could have been tweaked to make it better overall, I really do admire the fact that this film completely went for all of their ideas no matter how marketably crazy they were, and it just helps the fact that the majority of their ideas were actually really damn good. I'm gonna give Out of Darkness a B+. Seriously, I really did enjoy the film, and I have a strong feeling that it's really gonna bomb at the box office. So do this film a favor and go see it. I promise you, you will not regret it. Guys, I really am sorry that I'm late to the game on this review. There have been a couple setbacks in my personal life, but I am back. I will have reviews of Lisa Frankenstein and other new releases coming out this weekend. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys are the best, and don't forget to click subscribe and click that bell icon down below to stay up to date on all things movie, all things TV, all things nerd.